Family, welcome to the channel. We're back to the same old conversation that we've been having. I mean, it's 1993, right? And something is happening in rock music. The fantasy of the untouchable rock star is collapsing. Right? The hair is coming down, the makeup is coming off, and the party seems to be ending. Just 2 years earlier, Nirvana had helped detonate a massive cultural shift. Now you had Alice in Chains, Soundgarden, and Nine Inch Nails, and others are kind of dragging addiction and alienation and depression kind of into the forefront. And millions of people were actually buying it. Suddenly ugliness had cultural value somehow. But Tool didn't quite belong to any of those tribes. We've covered enough Tool on this channel, family. Hear me out. They weren't really grunge, right? I mean, and they weren't traditional metal. I mean, sometimes, Maynard can get in there. They have a lot of pockets. But they weren't punk. They were four strange guys from LA making music that sounded like somebody had crawled underneath the human personality with a flashlight. Right, exposing all kinds of ugly things that we didn't even want to look at, and then, kind of stating the obvious in ways that we didn't think about either. I mean, critics at the time noticed exactly this. Undertow existed alongside the era's explosion of rage and despair, but Tool approached those emotions with unusual discipline and intention. Oh, and that distinction matters, because America in the early 90s wasn't simply becoming angrier. It was becoming fascinated with what was underneath it all. You remember you had like that Jungian person in the college days? Trauma, addiction, abuse, compulsion, dysfunction. The parts of ourselves respectable society prefers not to display were suddenly becoming art. And Tool called their album Undertow. Something beneath the surface that can grab you and pull you somewhere you didn't intend to go. We've seen that on this channel, right? That's the world that makes bottom inevitable. Let's take a look at it, family. Without any further ado, we're going to let him cook. Please cook, sirs. Ooh. First of all, I appreciate the early, beat it vibes. Right? That beat so far just gives me that vibe, but it has that unresolved signature of Tool that we've gotten from, Danny's a beast on the drums. I wonder how they're getting that sound. That's a fire. You hear that? My compassion is broken. Right? So for me, compassion means treating your suffering as if it's my own. Guys, if you say, my compassion is broken now, it means that I'm seeing you less of a subject and more of an object. I'm more willing to treat you as a means to an end. Right? And he says, my will is eroded now, which makes it even worse. Go back a couple bars, please cook. The will is eroded now. I've swallowed the poison you feed me, but I survive on the poison you feed me. Right? Imagine surviving off of poison. I mean, immediately drugs comes to mind. Any kind of addiction, right? Alcoholism, which is, becomes its own kind of poison, right? I've swallowed the poison, but I survive off the poison, right? I need something that's killing me to give me any sense of living anymore, right? But notice he says, my piss and moans are the fuel that set my head on fire, right? So it's like, I mean, any little agitation, because you're filling a void with whatever this is, right? Any pissing and moaning, any complaining, right? It kind of sets off this thing. Guys, we're only a minute and 20 in, and we're already devastated with these bars. When he says, I'm dead inside, right? And that scream on inside, right? You're never genuinely dead on the inside. I mean, this is one of the biggest paradoxes when it comes to this song. He's screaming dead inside. But I mean, why would someone, or how would someone dead inside let out a scream like that? Just hear me out. I'm going a little bit deep here. You're never really dead on the inside. That's the thing that's probably so frustrating about what addiction does, right? It leaves you unmotivated. It leaves you, a shell of what you used to be. Food doesn't taste good anymore. You're not motivated to do the things that you used to enjoy. And yet, deep on the inside, you are this spirit. You are the same awareness as everyone else. Right? And so what gave me goosebumps about that part right there. He says, when he says, I'm dead inside, he's screaming from the perspective of the only thing alive left. Right? That's a terrifying thing. Listen to that. Guys, have you ever had such a menacing Selah moment in the history of this channel? I mean, this is like, you hear that, dong, dong. It's like someone is in a dark alley in a horror film. Just be there with me real quick. Just listen to that. Listen to that. Doesn't that sound like trouble? See, this is that dark, midnight parking garage music. When your car is the only one in the parking garage and none of the lights are on, or maybe there's one light flickering, you see a rat run across. This is that music right here. Ooh, that was a bar, baby. Listen to me. He's talking to the substance. He's talking to the addiction. He says, in order for me to survive you, I must survive myself. Guys, that's fire. What is he talking about? There are some things in my life that I don't want to deal with, right? Things that I hide from, right? And I turn to the substance as a means of like dulling the pain from that unresolved thing, the thing that I've compartmentalized and kind of put in the drawer. And so in speaking to your addiction and in speaking to whatever your problem is, you should say to it, in order to survive you, I have to survive myself. We have to let ourselves know that, right? That bar was fire. Please cook, sir.
I must first survive myself.
Right.
And I can sink no further. And I cannot forgive you.
Ooh. Guys, that's why it's called bottom. I can sink no further.
There's no choice but to confront you, to engage you, to erase you. I've gone to great lengths to expand my threshold of pain.
Ooh.
Use my mistakes against you.
Now hear me out, baby. He said, I've gone great lengths to expend my threshold for pain, right? And this is the reason you're at the bottom. You're I tell, people, as a Christian mystic, I believe that when Jesus fasted for 40 days, it was to make himself capable of bearing the cross, right? Things which are uncomfortable. He says, in that little statement there was very deep and very true. You have to prepare your body to take on the challenges. If you're someone who can't handle small amounts of discomfort, how are you going to put aside the big things, right? He's talking.
I've gone to great lengths to expand my threshold of pain.
Right.
Use my mistakes against you. There's no other choice. Shameless now. Nameless now. Knowing now. No one now. But my soul must be iron. 'Cause my fear is naked. Naked and fearless. And my fear is naked.
Guys, do you hear how much he has to relinquish, right? It's like there's so many things that you have to let go of. This song is almost like being dragged, kicking and screaming away from your problem. That's what rock bottom means, right? When he says nameless now, shameless now, nothing now, no one now. In order to kick this thing, in order to get the monkey off your back, whatever you're struggling with, it's going to require you giving up your name. You remember that reputation you were building up when you were hiding that thing? The problem, right? You have to get rid of that, right? You have to become the butt of the joke, somebody who has, failed to live up to what you were supposed to. Right? And then he says shameless now. Right? It's like, imagine like somebody who's detoxing, right? And how, pitiful they are. And I don't mean that in in any way to, put anybody down. But, you have to embrace shamelessness and not only humility, but humiliation. And then he says, nothing now, no one now. The dark night of the soul. Oh, gosh, why does Tool have to be so fire all the time, constantly? Back a couple bars. Continue. fam, shout out to the band. I really have to pause it and say shout out to the band because I'm so lost in this song. Like you almost forget, that you're having, this musical experience because Tool just kind of gets you lost in it. But it's like once you have that moment of clarity, like they really are producing this. Shout out to the band. Shout out to the producers of this sound. Oh, Danny with a major finish. Ugh. Yo, hear me out. The shit adds up, when he continually repeats that. Right? Imagine it, it's adding up on top of a bridge, and the bridge, it's stable enough, but it's bound to collapse when enough adds up. And that's when you find yourself on the bottom, having lost everything and noticing that you've lost. But, one of the upsides of having lost everything is you get to see your true self, which maybe you haven't seen in a long time as a result of, the complexities of having. This song kind of drags you kicking and screaming back into the mode of being where you don't have anything. Very, very bittersweet song, Bottom by Tool. Family, where are we going in the Tool journey? And family, till next time we see each other, please stay balanced. Love you, fam.